Is a social worker with the Wellness Institute to tell us about an exciting event and also just some really great resources here in the community. Welcome, Emilie.
Hi, nice to be here. Thank you.
Yeah, good to see you.
So we were talking, I remember her most as a little girl following us around when we were cheerleaders.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, she literally is just as beautiful as she was then. You were the
thank you.
cutest child I'd ever seen.
Thank you.
Well, thank you for coming back to the area to serve your community.
Absolutely.
And tell us a little bit about what you're doing now.
So I work at the Wellness Institute of Michigan, and we do private practice. So we see clients one-on-one, we see families, we see couples, we see children. So the Wellness Institute is actually located in Okemos.
Oh, okay.
But we have a satellite hub type situation in Jackson, where our office is at the Essential Energies building.
Oh, nice.
On Airport Road.
Okay.
And so right now there's 3 therapists in that building with the Wellness Institute, and they've actually just expanded to Milford as well.
Oh,
wow.
very nice.
So May is Mental Health Awareness
It
Month, and
is.
mental health has been, I think, something that people are more willing to talk about the last 5 or 6 years.
Right. Well, there's been a lot of stigma around mental health and anxiety and depression and struggling day to day. So now I think that it's becoming more well known, and people are more willing to reach out for help and talk with somebody about the things that they're struggling with.
That's awesome. And it's just important that they have resources
Absolutely.
readily available. So what are some of the things you guys are doing this month during mental health awareness?
Well, we are actually going to reach out to St. Rita's Church in Clark Lake, and we're doing a little meet and greet where I'm going, and we're talking about things that people are struggling with, whether it's anxiety, depression, whatever, family situations, whatever it is that they're struggling with. And we're going to work on identifying a few coping skills that people can use. So we're doing that on May 19th.
Emilie, what are everyday stressors?
Oh, it could be anything from family dynamics, it could be work, it could be home life, it could be your relationship with your significant other. There's a lot of different things, and it's different for everybody.
I got a huge nudge at Mass yesterday when they were like, oh, here to talk about managing everyday stressors on both sides. I had my mom and my daughter both, and I'm like, I think I'm doing just fine, thank you. But maybe I'm not, and we can always be better.
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely.
So what do people need to do to participate in the event?
Just show up. It's at 10:15 on May 19th at St. Rita's in Clark Lake.
Okay.
Is depression and anxiety in our country getting worse?
Yes. Yes. Between the things happening in the world, things happening in our community, people sometimes have a lot of stress or anxiety about sending their kids to school
Sure.
because of the unknown and anything that could happen.
How about social media?
Oh gosh, yes.
Yeah.
Yes, a lot of comparison. You know, people seeing influencers with a perfect home
Right.
and it's spotless and everything's put together. And then people that are seeing that are really struggling because they feel that's the expectation. That's what they need to live up to.
Constant comparison.
Yes, always. With parenting, with your home, with your relationships.
Yeah.
Just constantly comparing.
So you have 2 children.
I do.
How old are they?
7 and 9.
7 and 9. So what are some tools that you're putting in place to kind of protect them, whether it be from social media or coping mechanisms to help them excel?
Well, they're not on social media at all.
That's awesome, by the way.
And that won't be anytime soon that they are allowed on social media.
Yeah.
But, you know, we're really talking about identifying feelings, noticing when you're sad or when you're upset about something, being able to know who to go to when you're feeling that way.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's awesome.
So Emilie's mom has been heavily involved at St. Rita for years. She was in charge of the youth.
Yes.
She just recently retired.
Yes, right before COVID.
Yes. That might have been really good timing on her part.
Yes.
And Nancy Carter has stepped in
Yeah,
to kind of
she's
fill
been
those
wonderful.
shoes. Yeah, but I love the direction that the church is going in and bringing in more resources
Absolutely.
for the community.
Absolutely.
What does it mean for you to be able to come back to your hometown and bring such a great
Oh,
resource?
it's wonderful, and it's wonderful to connect with people that maybe I haven't seen in a long time and things like that. So it's great to be able to feel like you're giving back.
Yeah.
And then Catholic Charities has their grief group running at St. Rita's, so that's a great thing. You know, we're trying to get more people involved and bring more people in just for help.
Let me ask you, I think as a parent, it's hard to tell if your kid has anxiety unless they're telling you they don't want to go somewhere or something like that. What are things to look out for?
It could be any kind of behavior like being angry or upset all the time, kind of having tantrums, things like that. telling you that they don't want to go anywhere and really kind of pushing back and fighting back against that. And then it's just kind of figuring out their triggers for the anxiety, right? Like if your kid has testing anxiety, really kind of talking about that and finding a way for them not to feel so anxious when they're taking the test, whether it's deep breathing or imagining something and kind of just slowing down, because a lot of times we amp ourselves up. And so just slowing down and taking it step by step.
I had undiagnosed test anxiety.
Yeah?
I can assure you of that.
Well, look how far you've gotten.
Well, there were no tests.
There was no test for this job.
There were no tests, no. But it's something that we shouldn't be afraid to talk about,
Right,
correct?
absolutely. It's super intimidating for people to reach out for help. You know, they don't. It's the unknown. People don't like the unknown.
Yeah.
But the Wellness Institute, we make it really easy. There's a couple wonderful ladies that are the receptionists. They answer the phones. They work with you and get your insurance all figured out. They'll tell you what your copay is. And then they'll talk with you and find out what kind of problems are you having? What are you struggling with? Would you like a male or a female therapist?
Okay.
We offer telehealth. We offer in-person.
Oh, nice.
There's a lot of different options. But the office, they do all of like that background work to make sure, because now insurances, 99% of them cover mental health care.
Oh, that's good to hear.
Right?
Okay.
And you know, a big thing was COVID, because during COVID, I think it was a big recognition that people were struggling with mental health.
Sure.
And so now insurances cover mental health care at a pretty large capacity.
Nice.
So it's a great resource to have, and people just aren't always utilizing that care.
Okay.
But when you call the office, they will help set you up, make sure that you have the coverage, what your copay is, and kind of take you from there and walk you through everything. So, and you know, there's a lot of stigma about going to therapy. What's it going to be like, right? So a lot of times a therapist's office is set up kind of like a living room. I like soft lighting, it's very relaxing, things like that. And that very first session, that's probably the scariest, right?
Sure.
Because of the unknown. So a lot of times it's just the therapist and the patient having a conversation, kind of getting to know what's the struggle, and we create goals. And we decide, what are things that you want to work on?
Okay.
Well, I have a lot of anxiety while I'm at work. Okay, we can work on that. And sometimes people have 2 goals, some people have 5 goals. And that's okay, right? Because when we go in and we meet weekly, we talk about anything that you want to that's related to those goals, right? Okay. So one week we might work on this goal, and another week we might work on a completely different goal. It just kind of is situational and depends on what that person's really struggling with.
You have such a calm, peaceful presence.
Oh, thank
Do you actually treat patients?
I do.
So if people wanted, if they're drawn to you and they wanted to get a hold of you, how is the best way to do that?
You would just reach out to the Wellness Institute of Michigan, and the girls there will help.
And one more time, the date for the event is this coming Sunday?
May 19th at 10:15.
At 10:15. All are welcome?
All are welcome.
Free of
Absolutely.
charge?
Yeah, absolutely.
Free of charge?
Yep.
So just come and learn how to deal with daily stressors.
Yes, we all have them.
Yes,
Yes, we
sure
do.
We
And I think that's the other thing, is a lot of times people with anxiety and depression feel so alone.
Yeah.
Right? Nobody else knows what I'm going through. Nobody understands. So the hope is on the 19th, you know, maybe people kind of realize, oh, I didn't know you had issues with anxiety. Oh, that's so nice to know.
But some camaraderie there.
Right, absolutely, absolutely.
Awesome.
And I think of it too, if your friend had a broken arm, you would call that friend and you say, hey, how you doing? Are you doing okay? Can I do anything to help you? Same thing goes with somebody that's struggling with their mental health.
That's a good point.
Right? We should be calling, checking in. Can I do anything? Do you need help with anything? What can I do for you?
Great advice. Thank you so much for being here.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me.
Good
It's
luck,
been a pleasure.
Good luck with your event at St. Rita's.
Thank you.
Emilie Rosa here on The Morning Show. We have more coming up after this quick break.